everyone. My name is Zara. I am a reading-based submitter to God. The word reading translates to Quran in Arabic, and submitter translates to Muslim in Arabic. I won't go into too much because that's diverting. You can see my videos, what I'm about, what I've tried to explain before. That aside, I watched a video today and it's brought me to floods of tears that I would like to share with you. I'm not trying to if you can just please watch the video. I mean, I hope it explains what I'm trying to say. My aim is always to the converts. My whole aim is I'm just quoting the truth of the book, books, not to debate and not to put my own interpretation across, because you can read it and see it. Okay, so my I don't want to divert away from the subject, but how can I put it? I'll tell you about the video. That if you can please just watch it and you see what happens in that video. The connection at the end. A man dressed as Satan and another man who's gone through a journey, so much so that 14 years later it's that, which I've tried to explain before. Everyone has got their own journeys, their own paths. Nobody can come and tell anyone that they're wrong, it just moved me so much. So, because the man was wearing an upside down cross. And no, God only knows what he's been through in his life. Who knows? But at the end, he clicked because of the other man's journey. You know what I mean? He clicked. And whether or not he believed him, whether or not he, they hugged. Do you know what I mean? They hugged. Sorry, that's what I was early when I watched it. But yeah, I have conveyed, 10, oh God, it's over that now. And what I've done is just, it's in here. When you're a convert, you've got no idea. Only a convert knows what it's like. What it's like to be between people. It's horrible. But so much I want to say and so much I have tried to say, but I'm not one to debate anyway. Basics of that. If you can see that. See, my aim is for converted Muslims only. Right? This is going to people at Speaker's Corner who are demanding people believe and see what they see. Yeah. You can't get into somebody's path. You can't get into somebody's journey. I don't think there's anyone else who could have spoken to that man except that man. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't. Right, so my aim is to the converts, but this video is obviously for everyone, for anyone who can relate to it or anyone who can take advice from it. I'm not. I'm here on this earth as in anyone else for a test with God, and it's basic, very basic. Okay, so if I can speak more about what my whole thing is, I don't debate. I can if I have to. But all you can do is quote. They believe it, they believe it, they don't, they don't. People who ask questions, that's what I like to answer. Especially things that are not in the Quran, just to show and prove that it's not in there. Okay. Everything that is argued about, like I've said before, it's not in the Quran. So you can't go and preach to a polar bear. You can't do that. You can't preach to a polar bear. What do you think the reaction's going to be? You can't make the deaf hear. So I've known that for a long time. I've known that. I don't choose to do that, but from what I've researched, I'm not researched, and what I've learned over the years is this goes now to my Christian family, to my Christian brothers and sisters. Not my direct family, I'm talking my family from Adam. My family. You're all my family. Whatever religion you are, you're a human being. You're my brother or sister from Adam, We're human beings on this earth. Okay, so in the commandments, it's you can't bear false witness. And what's happened now is when I see not now, but always, but anyway, they've taken the majority's view of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, God, of the Quran. So I'm in my mid-morning rush after school run. So you've taken the majority's view, opinion, not any of the others. And instead of I don't know, saying your hadith says or your opinion says, it's Islam says, God says, and Muhammad is, and that's it. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I know that those commandments, they're throughout all of the scriptures. Those are the things that are going to come for you on Judgment Day. So yeah, I'm worried because all I see is that I don't want. I hate what's happened with everyone thinking that's Islam, which translates to peace and safety, submission to peace and safety. The age of marriage in the Quran is reaching age 40. I wasn't going to do this in this video, but I don't care anymore. I've had enough. I've got a family to raise, and I'm not. It's just absolutely ridiculous that nobody can see it. Yeah, so I've got family to raise, and let me show you. Right, so this is to my Christian brothers and sisters, and this is to my converted brothers and sisters. Okay. Oh, there's so much to say. Alright, let me get this verse out and I'll show you. I see refuge in God from Satan. Before I start, alright, no, I'll tell you after. In the name of God, the Almighty, the Merciful, and we have enjoined upon man to his parents good treatment. His mother carried him with hardship and gave birth to him with hardship. His gestation and weaning is 30 months. He grows until when he reaches maturity, full strength. That's what this word means, ashud. A-S-H-U-U-D, ashud. He grows until when he reaches maturity. So he's taken you from birth of a human being, yeah? Gestation, weaning period, okay? When he reaches maturity, full strength, that means, and reaches the age of 40 years. Reaches. Yeah, that can be 37. Reaches the age. He reaches maturity. Not when he is maturity, but listen anyway. He grows until when he reaches maturity, full strength, and reaches the age of 40 years. Okay. Second verse. I think it's 4:6. Sorry. Yeah. 4:6. Test and trial the orphans until they reach a marriageable age. If you find sound judgment in them, release their property to them. Test and trial the orphans until they reach a marriageable age. If you find sound judgment in them, release their property to them. Chapter 6, 152. And do not go near the wealth or property of the orphans until he reaches his maturity. 17:34. And do not come near to the wealth or property of the orphans, except that which is best, until he reaches his maturity. Okay? Marriageable age is when reaching age 40. Okay. Just please ask anyone what should means. I should. Okay. So, as much as people might not be Muslims or might not be even religious, they're taking other people's views and they're bearing false witness. And it doesn't matter if you don't believe in God, it doesn't matter if you don't, but what you're doing, well, to me, not to, everyone's taken a covenant with God, everyone on this earth. So you're bearing false witness against a man, an innocent man. And I don't want that for you guys, because I know the peace and love of Christianity. I know the peace and love of other religions. I know all religions, even atheism. Like, I know the peace of people, human beings with hearts. It doesn't matter what religion. I'm just saying that it's the devil is there to sidetrack. The devil is there next to everyone. to throw you off the path. Even if it's that big, the weight of a mustard seed will be brought forth, you know. And when it comes to things, that's especially in the commandments, it's, if we are true believers in God, true believers in God, we wouldn't take a majority's position, you know, on, because both books say don't follow, only a few, both books sort of speak about this majority position. It's not the way forward, if you know what I mean. I've got all the verses, they're all on my page. So, to my convert brothers and sisters now, everything that, where you may think you've converted, but you haven't, to Islam, you've got the Quran, that's the main thing. You've got a mistranslated one, and I can prove that to you very easily if you just go to my page and have a look at the words added that you can easily check. Big busted women in heaven, not in there. Beating women, not in there. Not in there. Child marriage, not in there. Apostasy laws, not in there. Blasphemy laws, not in there. Nothing. And what these laws are, they've been removed. Like the apostasy one, not the child marriage one, the apostasy one, the blasphemy one, the stoning one. Check the Quran, it's not in there. Nothing's in there. It opposes the Quran. So what will happen to the converts who should obviously have, no, not should, but would probably have more idea of what's going on because they've come from the previous scriptures? What's happened is that you're going to go back instead of forwards. Revelation is forwards, not backwards. So you're going to be going forwards. You're going to be going backwards. And if you remember that God removed things, brought a new scripture. It happened again. So they removed things, brought a new scripture. And it's very apparent with all the prophets, you can see there's differences. There's, you can see that. But when it came to Jesus, and that's a separate book, it's, so I have to speak loud because I know my phone doesn't, the mic, it doesn't work. I'm only doing this quickly, sorry, I haven't got a mic. So I'm speaking it sounds like I'm speaking quite harsh, but I have to speak loud because of this. When you look at Jesus in regards to the stoning laws, he was killed for blasphemy. He brought peace, doesn't work, does it? You're going to go back. So anyway, to cut a long story short, all the apostasy verses are on my page. The blasphemy laws are on my page. In regards to any verbal blasphemy about God or about the messengers, about the prophets, the verses are, be patient with what they say. Be patient with what they say and avoid them with gracious avoidance, which is what I do. Well, you can't. That's why you don't see us there. Quran only Muslims. You don't see us there. Do you know what I mean? You can't. You're all. See, it's not the Christians' fault, but because that's all they see is Islam. That's all they see is Islam, is the majority. So it's not their fault, but so someone has to do now, because the thing is, if if they don't choose to believe it, that's up to them. You know, they can't. You can only quote a verse and just leave it, because you can't tell them. But then the problem is, a lot of them have seen it, but they still choose to call these people Islamists or Muslims, submitters to God. How can you be a submitter to God, the Quran, if nothing they say is in there? So they're not Muslims, you know, they're not Islamists, peacists. You need to, that kind of thing. I hope I can make that clear, a bit clearer, because the way we live, us Quran only Muslims, we can't live. We live, but we can't, you know, like it's what people think is Islam. It's not. It's not Islam. And the people that are making it worse now are the ones who aren't, you know, they're bad enough. The ones who are, it's a cult, you know, it is a cult. And I'll go through that as well. But it's the ones who aren't Muslims, submitters. It's the ones who are fighting this, but saying it's Islam. But there's so many divisions of Islam. You haven't taken any of theirs, only the majority. I'm going to just show you something. About the majority. Okay. I seek refuge in God from Satan. I say that before every time I read the reading, because that's what the Quran translates to, the reading. Okay. This is God talking to Prophet Muhammad. And most of the people, although you strive, are not believers. 12:103. And most of them believe not in God, except while they associate others with him. 12:106. Those are the ones brought near to God, in the gardens of pleasure, a company of the former peoples and a few of the later peoples. A few. People can try and twist that around however they want. It's a few. Yeah. They're the ones brought near, because God has already described the people, the previous people. Prophet Jonah was sent to 100,000 people in the Quran. It's described in this verse 56:11. There's 3 categories, and he says, I'll show you, this is going to go into my thing about the believers. The believers aren't the submitters. So I've said that before. There'll be people that understand what I'm saying, but I'll show you. There's 3 categories, and he describes them as a company of the former peoples, and a few of the later. They're the ones brought near to God. Okay, there's another verse now. This is going off of what I'm saying, but the companions of, they're the ones brought near. They're the forerunners. The companions of the right, that's a company of the former and a company of the later. So, and then being among those who believed and advised one another to patience and advised one another to compassion. Those are the companions of the right. Okay, so it's not just a few of the later peoples are going to be saved. No, like it's not that. So there's the companions of the right as well. So okay, sorry, going back to the majority. 13
38:24. And indeed many associates oppress one another, except for those who believe and do righteous deeds, and few are they. And David became certain that we had tried him, and he asked forgiveness of his Lord, and fell down bowing, and turned in repentance. "1762. He, Satan, said, Shall I expose for you that thing you have honoured over me? If you respite me until the day of resurrection, I will claim all of his descendants except for a few. Satan has indeed confirmed his thoughts about them to be true, for they followed him, except for a group of believers." So the majority is something not to be followed, according to the Quran. So, I didn't know that before, but okay, so the one thing God doesn't forgive, I'm trying to do this as quick as I can, but the one thing God doesn't forgive is associating partners. 6158. Those who associated with the God will say, if the God had willed, we would not have associated, and neither would our fathers, nor would we have prohibited anything. Likewise did those before deny until they tasted our punishment. Say, tells Prophet Muhammad to say, do you have any knowledge that you can produce for us? You follow not except assumption, and you are not but falsifying. So those who associated with God have prohibited things in God's name. And this is in the Quran. This is what is said in the Quran. So it's going to be people who are prohibiting things. You're prohibiting people staying alive if they want to leave Islam, if they want to be a Christian, if they want to be an atheist, if they want to have a break, if they want to be a monk, be a Buddhist. You're prohibiting them staying alive. It's over. It's over. I'm not here to speak to that section of people that do that to people. It's now for my Christian brothers and sisters, if you're taking their view of it, just because they're the majority, which I understand, I completely understand, I'm telling you, I just pray that you can hear it, because otherwise on Judgment Day, I feel like they're going to take you with them. Not like it, because we've all taken a covenant, haven't we? So we're not going to apparently do, those commandments. I just mean in the sense that people are devoting their lives daily to basically saying this is Islam. That's why I believe that it's not going to be good for people on Judgment Day. Okay, so to my convert brothers and sisters now. There's many things. There's no wife beating in the Quran. They're going to turn you into satanic thinking. There is no violence. There is no eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for a life. Yeah, but charity can be given, and patience. Chapter 16, 126 and 127. And if you punish with that that you were harmed. But if you are patient, it is better for those who are patient. And be patient. Your patience is not except through God. Okay, so there's not just those two. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You've got the right to fight back. But if you want to be patient, it's there. You can do that. You know, God repeated that. And be patient. Patient in 127 from 126. Be patient. It's better for those who are patient. 126 and 127. And be patient. Your patience is not except through God. You haven't read all of the. You have to read all of it, not just once. You have to go to different verses, or make your own files on subjects, because what they have done is turn everything around into the religion of Pharaoh, the religion that was supposed to have been the religion that was here before the Torah came. That was here, stoning people to death. That's the pagan religion. People that have got that actually in their book, they don't use that in their laws of the land. They don't use that because there's other parts of the Torah and the Psalms. They don't use those laws. They don't punish people for their way of life. Their choosing of their way of life, right? But what they're going to have you do, my convert brothers and sisters, is be going back to the laws of the pagans in the Quran. And if you please check, nobody uses those laws except the pagans. And God forbids it. He forbids harming anyone. Unless they've harmed you first, there is no one you're allowed, you cannot harm.